on Psychic Radio here on Moonstruck TV with Amanda Hall, Psychic, all the way from the Gold Coast. My producers just asked me to sing Little Drummer Boy. I'm going to save your ears from my beautiful singing. It's not that I've got a bad voice, it's just that rough passage coming out. So anyway, it's Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to wherever you are in this amazing planet of ours. And it is a very, very exciting time of the year. The children are getting excited, counting down the sleeps till that man in the red suit comes flying through the sky in his sleigh with all the reindeers. And yes, I had a little test of my knowledge yesterday on reindeers yesterday to recite all their names. That was a little bit of a work of art. I haven't had to do that for a little while, but it's always fun to be around little people at this time of the year when they get so excited and tell you what they're going to do and what they're leaving out for Santa. And the in-trend this year is carrot cakes for the reindeers with real fresh carrots poking out of them so that they can see to get through the night. So if you're looking for something to put out for the reindeers, that's the scoop here from Australia. Anyway, we're going to move on with the show. The Simply Tarot card of the week this week is the Six of Cups. Now, I really think this symbolises Christmas. It's a happy house and childhood memories. And look, I don't think there's too many people, no matter how old you are this week, that don't have some sort of flashback to their childhood, to, you know, hanging their stocking out or their onion sack or whatever the case may be for Santa, hanging it up by the fireplace or sticking it out in the cool here as we do in Australia because it's usually hot. So, you know, I mean, we all have traditions that we take into our adult life, and hopefully we bring that magic to the children that we bring into this world and our grandchildren so that the magic of Christmas can continue on. So I think this is a beautiful card for Christmas, a happy house, childhood memories, and everybody singing and dancing and, you know, cups are full, everybody's happy, everybody's enjoying the season. And I think that's the most important message. It's not how much money you spend, it's the get-togethers, it's the time with people, it's spending time, it's having a sing-along, enjoying a bite to eat, and just sort of reminiscing about some family traditions or things that have happened that maybe people have forgotten about, some funny stories, or, you know, sharing with loved ones of stories of love of times gone by. And it's so interesting to watch the little people. They sit there in utter amazement to think that you were little once, that, you know, Santa did come to you and you have some magical stories to share with them, and they can relate to that. It sort of helps them feel connected, I think, to their family and the roots of what family really means. So enjoy the festive season, whoever and whatever you're doing over this magical time of the year, enjoy it. So this week I'm pleased to say that the astrology forecast over the next 7 days has probably never been more calm in the whole time that I've been doing this show. So what a nice treat that is. We've got the last days of the sun sitting in Sagittarius. Now, the sun in Sag always is the lead up to Christmas, and it's the most magical, exciting time, and I think probably just as well because that's what gives us our oomph and our energy to get through the mountains of things that we have to do to get ready for that one magical day. But this year we've also got, in the tail end of the sun in Sag, we've got the sun in Sag conjunct or holding hands, what's known as an Arabian part, known as the part of fortune. Now, the part of fortune has just gone into Capricorn. So we've got the sun sitting just on the very last 2 degrees of Sagittarius, and the part of fortune is just in Capricorn. So it's like the really magical time for any Sagittarian or any fire sign, which is your Aries, your Leo and your Sag, to really make sure that they start to put together plans for their future. This is the time you might not be able to act on them, but if you get some brain waves, some aha moments, those light bulb moments, please write them down, record them on your device so that you can come back to them in the new year when you've got a little bit more time. There may just be an answer coming from spirit that you weren't expecting, and it could be that you've been contemplating making changes with your job or your career or the stage you are at life. There's going to be a couple of breakthrough moments there that I don't want you to miss them. I want you to record them, write them down so that you can explore them when you've got a little bit more time. That really, really is important. This sort of aspect in an astrology wheel doesn't happen very often, so it's something that we need to really sort of work with and not waste it. We also have Neptune, the planet of illusion, delusion, creativity, really bringing the magic of the season, in my opinion, still sitting in Pisces. Now, it's sort of nearing the end of its reign in Pisces in the next few months, but for the moment, it's still holding hands with Jupiter. Now, Jupiter has just moved out of Pisces into Aries, so it's sort of like we've got this magical duo here of we can really sort of bring in all the creative energy of the Piscean energy and bring it to the forefront. And sort of for many people, they'll feel like they're coming out of a fog and finally seeing the answers or the light or the direction that they need to be going. And with Jupiter here sitting just gone into Aries, into the first part of the zodiac, sort of saying, okay, now's the time to sort of really ramp it up. Let's get ready to make that really big leap forward in the new year. So it's sort of like, again, have your device, have your pen and paper, write down your ideas. Any of those light bulb things or those creative flashes that come in now shouldn't be wasted. We need to keep those very close to our chest. We also need to maybe add some more to it. We need to formulate it a little bit more, but we need to get those basic ideas down. Now, with this, again, I'm talking about fire signs. I'm talking about Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, but I'm also talking about the water signs, which is Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So it's a little bit less for the other signs, unfortunately. If you're an air sign or an earth sign, it's not quite as predominant for you, but there is still magic there. There is still opportunity. So don't sort of think, oh, well, she's not talking about me. It doesn't apply to me. It applies to each and every one of us, but it also more intensely applies to the fire signs and the water signs, as I've mentioned. Now, I'm going to sort of focus now a little bit on an air sign, which is the Aquarians. Now, look, I have a number of Aquarian friends and loads of Aquarian clients, and a lot of them have been going through a little bit of turmoil this last 12 months. Things that they thought were shored up, that were definite, that they had a steady income or they had, you know, a nice place to live or whatever, and all of a sudden they feel like they've had the rug pulled from underneath them. Now, this is not necessarily true you've had the rug pulled from underneath you. You've had Saturn, the planet of discipline and structure in Aquarius now for a couple of years, and he's been asking you to make sure that everything that you've got in your life is well structured. Could there be a change? Could there be something else on the horizon that you hadn't thought of? Are you just a little bit too comfortable and being lazy with what you've got, saying, oh, well, any old thing will do. I'm not prepared to get up and make a change. If this is the case, then Saturn will literally look like it's pulled the rug from underneath you because you've become too complacent, because you've become too fixed and rigid in being not so much lazy, but sort of saying, oh, well, that'll do. I'll settle for second best or 10th best, instead of sort of saying, what is it that I really want to achieve and really make it happen. I know a lot of people were working on long-range plans that might have been a 5 or a 10-year plan, and they've had a change come into their lives which has pulled it up a year or two earlier than what they expected. But I think if they were really honest with themselves and looked back over the history of when they were putting this into motion, they had opportunities there that they squandered or wasted or didn't put as much effort or finances into at the time, because it was like, oh, well, I've got plenty of time, I don't need to be in a rush. Well, no, they did need to be in a rush. If they'd been listening to what I've been talking about with Saturn in Aquarius, they would have known that they really had to pay attention here. So if you're one of those people, one of those Aquarians that have had sort of like literally the rug pulled from underneath you, can I say to you, dust yourself off, get going again. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise, that it's going to put you in a much stronger direction. And at the end of the day, when you've made the changes that are required, you will actually be happier. So this will flow on to other air signs as well, Libra and also Gemini. Probably not quite as much for them, because most of the time I've been hearing from my Gemini and Libra people that they're actually willingly making changes or looking at career changes or off doing study, or sort of, you know, they've been open to ideas. They haven't been so fixed and rigid or as stubborn as the Aquarians have been. They've been a little bit more flexible and have been working with it. So they're not finding it as such a massive change. So we're going to move on to Chiron. Now, Chiron is not actually a planet. It's where we find what we need to heal in our chart, you know, and we all come in with baggage from a past life. I'm a firm believer, and we've all been here before, and we're probably all coming back again. But I like to look at, this is what I term as one of the karmic parts of a chart, what we've brought into this life that we need to fix, or we need to heal, we need to look at, we need to repair. So it's interesting because Chiron is in Aries at the moment, and he's making a beautiful aspect, a sextile to Mars in Gemini. Now, this doesn't just apply to air signs and fire signs. I think this goes right across the board. we all have this opportunity over the Christmas period that we can mend fences, that we can heal rifts, we can bring families back together again. If there's been a disagreement or an argument in a family, now's the best time that we can try and repair this. I'm not asking people to forgive people of things that they don't feel ready to do, but let's just sort of draw a line under it, get on the bus, all get on together and start singing Kumbaya. You know, let's leave the negativity or the things that happened in the past and let's move forward, because we have this opportunity to do so. And it's not necessarily about who was right or wrong. It's a matter of all being able to work together, bring families together, bring people together at this wonderful time of the year and sort of say, okay, that's the past. Let's start a new book. Let's start from today. Let's start a whole new chapter in our lives, a whole new book in our family that we've all grown, we've all learnt, we've all had things that haven't been so good, and we've had, you know, lots of triumphs and lots of sadness, that we can sort of put that in the past and let's start afresh as if we've just all come together for the first time. So I'm really pleased to see that, because to me that sort of indicates there's going to be a lot of healing going on around the world, you know, with family rifts or arguments or disagreements and things like that. I mean, I know when I was a little kiddo, Christmas Day was always very exciting, you know, Santa coming and all those sort of things. But invariably, there was always an argument between my uncles. If one didn't punch the other one in the nose, there was something wrong. And I used to think, what's wrong with these? You know, I used to call them big boys. I suppose I was probably all of 8. And I used to think, why can't they play nicely? Why does somebody have to punch someone else in the nose because they said something they didn't like? It was only as I got older that I realised that there was this rivalry between the 3 brothers, and you add alcohol to that and it's sort of all of a sudden tempers become flared, and every year they promised their mother that there'd be no punch-up in the backyard as the afternoon drew on, but invariably there always was. And I think it was even as they got older and too old to fight like that they started to realise that how silly that they were. And a lot of these disagreements or these grievances went back to when they were little boys in short pants. They weren't arguments they had as men. They were things that they'd carried through to their adult life from childhood. So it's interesting how family dynamics work, that we take things forward that we don't need to. Well, now's the time to draw a line under it and put it to one side and say, let's move forward. Finally, we're going to wrap up with Uranus in Taurus. Now, Uranus is the planet of the unusual and the unexpected. It's still sitting in Taurus, has been for a long time now. So maybe it's time that we all start some new traditions. You know, if we look at it on a festive level, it's a time now that we can start some new, as I said, some new books, some new chapters in our lives, forgive people, or draw a line under it and say, okay, that's the past, this is now, let's move forward, let's unite, let's heal some old wounds, let's just enjoy what Christmas is about, and it's about being with the people that we love, having a bite to eat, some laughter and some love, but let's not forget those that we've lost. And many, many people will have an empty chair at the Christmas table this year, and there'll be a lot of sadness there. And it's one of the most important questions I probably get asked at this time of the year. Amanda, how do you suggest that I can incorporate the people that we've lost, whether it was in the last 12 months or 10, 20 years ago, into the family celebration? Now, there's a number of ways of doing it, but for a lot of people, they don't want to spook other family members and think they've, you know, gone mad because all of a sudden here they are trying to bring the dead relatives in or setting a place at the table for all the dearly departed. Maybe just set up a little display somewhere on the coffee table or on the sideboard or something like that, with a candle or electronic candle and maybe some photos. Or even if you don't want photos, just put a special Christmas decoration there that represents collectively the people that you've lost. You've got a nice little candle burning there or an electronic candle there, and every time you walk past you can just have a little thought to yourself, or Merry Christmas to all of those that aren't here with us. So that might be a suggestion. For me, when my children were little and their father passed away, we always had an extra place at the Christmas table. That was for Dad and anybody else that had gone, and different people over the years. It sort of became quite a crowded seat at our table, but that was how we do it, and we still do to this day. Even though my children are grown and live in different parts of the country, I know that tradition still carries on. So we're going to talk with our first person today on the show, and it's Marty in Daytona in Ohio. Are you there, Marty?
Yes, I am.
What a pretty name.
How are you? Actually, my name is Marletta, but everybody calls me Marty.
Well, it's very pretty. It really sort of has got a nice feel to it. So how can I help you today, sweetie? Do you have a question I can answer for you?
Well, no, I'm just hoping that there's something that you might see that you can make me aware of. I don't have a specific question. I do have a lot of things that have occurred these past years that I'm still working to get answers to. So maybe you will see something that will give me some answers.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, now, like I always ask if there's a specific question because we have a limited amount of time. The first thing that they were showing me as I was tuning into you is that you've got the symbol of endings, change and transformation coming up. So the fact that you've been working on a number of things now for a while, that to me is a good sign that you're on the right track. Things are coming to a close in the way that they need to. So it's not as if I've got to specifically zone in on one area or the other and say fix this or do that and you'll get the right answers or the right closure to that. You're doing that intuitively anyway, which is good. The other thing that they were sort of showing me is that your energy levels aren't as consistent as I'd like to see them. Have you been ill, or has it just been your energy's been up and down and all over the place?
Probably don't get enough sleep, drink too much coffee.
Okay, yeah, like the rest of us, yes, okay. Well, maybe you've got to sort of start looking at that and, maybe not cut out coffee altogether. I mean, to me, I couldn't function without it, but I think you've got to start sort of trying to make sure that you're allocating enough rest. To me, those energy levels are bouncing too much, and it was borderline to me of making you sick. And when I say making you sick, it could just be then you get a series of, viruses that you just don't seem to be able to shake or come back from. Nothing serious, not life-threatening, but just a nuisance. So I don't want to see that come towards you. I think let's look at this as a warning. If you're tired, sit down. The dishes will wait. The floor will wait, whatever it is, or wait. Give yourself 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever's needed. By doing that, I think we can bring your energy levels back to a more consistent level. So looking into 2023, are you planning maybe a change of residence or making changes to where you're living? Because they're showing me changes there with a question mark around March.
Oh, really? No, I hadn't planned on moving or leaving my home.
Okay, but you could be doing something to the house where you're thinking of, getting a new sofa or hanging some new curtains or moving the furniture around.
Doing some new driveway. I'm going to redo my driveway, some things like that. Yes, I do, and redo my basement.
They were showing me March was sort of when things were really ramping up with that.
Okay.
But I felt it was good. I felt excited about it. It was like once we get that where you want it to be, it's like you can breathe out and say, oh, okay, well, that's done. Now I can just sort of reorganise what I need to look at for the next stage of my life. I don't think there's anything there that I can say to you that you have to worry about. 2023 to me seems to be a year where we can just sort of glide on through and really sort of this time next year look back and say, wow, that was a great year. I didn't expect that things would be this easy. My energy's back. I feel good. The things that I've been working on are now complete and I can start sort of looking towards a new chapter. So I hope that's helped you, sweetie. Merry Christmas.
Yes.
We're going to talk with Stacey now in San Antonio in Texas. Are you there, Stacey?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well, thank you, sweetie. Do you have a question you'd like me to answer for you?
Well, I wanted to see if I could get like a medium reading for my son.
No guarantees it'll happen in the short space of time that we've got. If you've got a direct question, that's easier for me because quite often when people want to connect with a medium, they're really only wanting an answer to a question. They don't always chime in just because we want them to. So is there something in your life that you need direction on?
Actually, well, yeah, I'm fixing to go to school and everything. I want to know if that's going to play out right for.
Okay, sure. All right. So looking at the schooling situation or education, they're showing me that maybe you haven't quite found the right direction yet. You're tossing up between a couple of choices there?
Yeah, really. Yes, I am.
Yeah. If I can put it in this way, because they don't show me, precisely what you were looking at, whatever your first choice was, the first thing that you were looking at, and then you went to look at the second thing came into your mind and you thought, oh, that could be good. I want to take you back to the first one. They're showing me the first one is the strongest one, but it may just need a little bit of tweaking. You know, like it might be that you can, you know, you've got a particular course, but you can take a couple of different electives or something like that. That's the part that we could tweak, but they're showing me the first one is the strongest one. They're also showing me too that you lack confidence in yourself. You're actually very smart. Don't sort of put yourself down. Don't sell yourself short. There is a woman coming through from spirit, and I'm going to assume that it's a grandmother because it's like a grandmother's energy. And she's sort of pointing a finger at me and saying, you're very brave, my girl. You know you can do this. Was that your grandmother? Was she very strong-willed and sort of very opinionated?
Yes, she was.
Yeah, well, she's there and she's pointing a finger at you in a loving sort of way, but saying you can do this. You know, why are you doubting yourself? You're very clever, and she's there with you all the time. It's interesting because, I mean, I'm sure she had other, you know, grandchildren that she loves too, but you seem to have been the apple of her eye, if I can put it that way. Not that she would admit that to anybody, but there was always a special, extra special connection there between the two of you, and that hasn't gone just because she's gone through to the other side. She's also sort of showing me that you're too kind for your own good. Can you relate to that? Yeah. Well, she's asking me very strongly to share with you, it's okay to be kind, but you've got to be kind to you first. You've got to be at the top of the tree. You've got to be at the top of the list. When your needs are met, then if there's anything left over, then it can filter down to other people.
Okay, yeah. I see that.
She's very clear about that. You know, she sort of loves you to pieces, but, you know, you're too kind for your own good. You know, you put yourself last all the time, and that's got to sort of change. She keeps showing me red nail polish, and I don't know how to tie that in because I didn't feel she would have necessarily worn red nail polish. I'm just trying to work out what her symbolism is for showing me that. I mean, red nail varnish is not something that is super popular these days like it used to be. I'm going to take it that I think she's asking you to sort of take your power back. You know what I mean? Really put yourself, you know, if somebody dresses in a red top or a red dress, we say they're power dressing. Well, if she's showing me, you know, you put red nail polish on, you're power dressing, you know, you're powering your fingertips, you know, like you can do anything you put your mind to. I think that's what she's meaning. I don't think she's meaning go out and buy some. I think she just wants you to know that you've got the power in your hands, in your fingertips to achieve anything, and you can. So, you know, don't doubt yourself. It's really, really, she's very strong. She's around you all the time. I'm sure you must notice her. Or feel her.
Well, I mean, I think I'm kind of blind to that because I have a bunch of people that have passed that were really close to me. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's not saying that they're not there, but I'm saying she's the one that's sort of like leading the band. You know what I mean? She's the strongest.
Right. I can see that.
She's the one that sort of takes control of everybody. You know, like you'll do this and you'll do that. You know, she gives all the orders. And that's why I feel she's coming through the strongest. It's not saying the others aren't there. They are all there. They all love you, all miss you, all that sort of stuff. But she's the one that organises and orchestrates things. You know, like if Uncle Fred's supposed to help fix the tyre on your car, well, she sends him off to do that. And if somebody else is meant to do something else, she delegates them all jobs.
Right.
And she loves doing it. She loves organising. Yeah, she loves organising everybody. But look, they're all still there. They all see what's going on in your life, and it's like they're all sitting there waiting with bated breath for you to make this final choice on your schooling, on which way you're going to go, and then it's sort of like everybody can come in and help you achieve your dream. So I think you just need to work out what it is that you want and go for it, because I think you've got the opportunity there to really achieve big things for 2023, Stacey. And it's interesting because, you know, you have such sadness in your heart, and I want to say to you, it's time we release that. The people on the other side don't want to see you sad. They want to see you smile again. They want to see you be vibrant and alive. You know, that's what you can do for them. Can you try?
Okay.
That's really important. They all want to see that. They all want to see, you know, they're waiting for you to have this beautiful beaming smile again, not to be so sad. Was there a concentration of people that you lost fairly quickly, was there?
Yes.
Yeah, because to me, you didn't seem to have time to grieve one properly, and then there was another one, and then another one. It was like a passing trains, you know, they were just coming one after the other. Well, they're saying to me now, that's it for a while, you know, like draw breath and let's go forward. Let's start to get some happiness, some smiles back again. That's really important. That's what they want for this Christmas.
Okay.
Okay, lovely to talk with you, Stacey. That's where we're going to leave Stacey now in San Antonio in Texas. It's a really difficult time of the year because we all do miss our loved ones, as I spoke about earlier. And, you know, maybe you've got to find your own way of celebrating or bringing them into the family celebration in a way that is meaningful and dignified. And, you know, sometimes, you know, maybe start a tradition of, you know, instead of going around the Christmas table like you do at Thanksgiving and what are you thankful for, maybe everybody has a little special memory about somebody that's no longer here, something that they found funny or amusing or something that they liked or disliked about them. Let's try and keep it lighthearted, but make it a new family tradition. So as we do at the end of the show each week, I always recommend a song that has been going through my head or I've had on my turntable this week. And this week I want to share 2 Christmas songs with you. The first one, it was written by an amazing, talented American man. He's been passed away for many years now, called Tony Romeo. And the song was called My Christmas Card to You. It was first released by the Partridge Family back in 1971. David Cassidy went on to sing it for many, many years after that. And it has become one of my ultimate favourite Christmas carols. Look, I love lots of Christmas carols and there's so many beautiful ones out there. But that one particularly is a beautiful song, and I think it goes right across the world. And of course, my other favourite at this time of the year is Santa Claus is Coming to Town. And look, there's many, many people that sing that, and there's many people that do a beautiful job. But I don't think we can end the show without mentioning one of the USA's greatest, finest singer-songwriters, Neil Diamond. He's got a brand new Christmas album out, and it's certainly worth a listen to. I have most of his Christmas albums. I find him very refreshing at Christmas time. He has a beautiful voice, and he's got a lot of old classics on there and a few new ones, and it's a really magical time of the year. So have a very, very, very Merry Christmas, and don't forget to hang your stocking out for Santa, and I hope you've been good. Not, you know, Santa's looking to see whether you're naughty or nice. Let's hope you've been on the nice list. Until next week, bye for now. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.